Here's how you can finance a property with no US income as a foreign investor. In most countries, when you want to invest in real estate, the most difficult thing is getting financing, especially if you live in another country. In the United States, it's luckily way easier for foreign investors, and I'm going to tell you exactly how you can finance your property. You don't even need an employment contract. It doesn't matter if you live abroad, if you're an entrepreneur with low salary, they don't even look at your income. This sounds too good to be true, right? I thought the same. But in the United States, if you apply for a DSCR loan, this is called a debt service coverage ratio loan, you can get a financing based on the cash flow of the property. So it needs to be a rental property for investment reasons, and you can finance the property based on the future cash flow. So they don't look how much is your debt to income ratio, what's your income. They just want to know, okay, how much is this property cash flowing? Does it have a good DSCR ratio? And do you have enough savings for the down payment and for the reserves of 6 to 9 months to keep the property running if it doesn't generate any rental income? So how does it work? For example, we take a property of $200,000. Your down payment is 25%. So the rest you will finance, a loan to value of 75%. And then based on that, they will look, okay, how much is the rental income? So if you go for a property that makes like $2,000 and as rental income, and your fixed monthly obligations for your mortgage are around $1,300 or $1,400, you have a positive cash flow. So based on that, the bank will say, okay, there's like a positive cash flow. We give you the financing for this property. So what this means with today's interest rate, because today interest rates are quite high, around 7% for foreign nationals, you can only buy in high cash flowing markets, or you need to put a higher down payment to make sure it cash flows and the DSCR ratio is high enough for them to approve. And this is exactly the reason why investing in the United States is so powerful compared to other countries. Let's say you want to buy a property in Thailand, in Bali, or in Mexico. Financing is way more difficult. You have to put everything cash up front. So your cash of cash return is way lower and it's harder to scale. I saw this with my clients in Spain. They look at your debt to income ratio. So the first property you can finance, but then the second, third property usually gets more difficult because you already have a lot of debt, and then your income is not sufficient enough to cover more debt, and they don't really calculate the future cash flow on these properties. So in general, in other countries, it's way more difficult to scale up your rental portfolio, while the United States is built for real estate investors. Even if you're a foreign national, not living in the United States, don't have a credit score, you can still get a mortgage through a DSCR loan. And the good thing is there's no cap on the loans they give you. If you want to buy 10 rental properties, 20 rental properties, there's no cap as long as you have the down payment and enough liquidity for the reserves. The only thing is you can buy only small multifamily with DSCR loans. That means 1 to 4 units. I know one lender does 1 to 6 units, but in general, it's like 1 to 4 units. But you can still get a duplex, triplex, or fourplex. But if you want bigger than that, you go into commercial lending. And in general, for foreign nationals, they want to see a credit score, more down payment, personal guarantee. So it's wiser to start first buying smaller units like a duplex, triplex, have a track record in the United States, build relationship with lenders, and then you can use this also as collateral for bigger deals. So it'll be easier to fund like a multifamily project of like 10, 20 units, because it makes sense from the lender perspective, right? They don't know who you are, you have no assets in the United States, no credit score, and then you're gonna apply for a $10 million loan. Yeah, that's just not gonna happen. But if you already have a couple of million in assets, then it's way easier, or a couple 100,000 even, then it will be easier to scale up to these bigger deals. Still, with DSCR loans, you can finance up to 5 million US dollars. So it's still very high. You can buy high cash flowing fourplex or triplex or a duplex. So don't be scared of that you cannot buy like these big deals, because eventually you can buy them once you start small and create your portfolio. You can scale up faster. But again, the most important thing is from the lender perspective, is this property cash flow positive? So you need to go to markets where you can actually get these returns, because if you go to California, New York, and you buy rental properties over there, yeah, they're going to be cash flow negative. So it's going to be hard to get them financed as a foreign national, because yeah, they want to see you have this is a certain threshold that your cash flow is positive. But in markets where we operate, Ohio or Michigan, in Detroit, it's very easy to find high cash flowing properties with the 1% rule. So if you're interested in that, you can check out my website, greenroadsrealestate.com. We help foreign investors to buy rental properties in Columbus, Cleveland, and also in Detroit. So if you're interested, go check out my website and schedule a call with me. And we can see how we can help you further to buy your first investment property in the United States. And that's the great thing from American real estate. You can come over from all over the world. You just need to have the money, the cash, the liquidity, and you can start investing in the United States tomorrow. It's not that complicated, and you don't need to have a lot of cash up front compared to other countries. So for me, the financing in the United States is actually the best system. There are other financing strategies as well. I will go over them in a separate video about hard money, seller financing, etc. So stay tuned, more videos about financing US real estate will come. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. And if you want to be introduced to DSCR lenders, I work with a few partners that are specialized in foreign nationals that do DSCR loans, so they can help you to get your first investment property in the United States, even if you don't want to buy in Ohio or Michigan with me and you just have already everything set it up, but you want to get a lender that helps you to buy your first rental property. You can reach out to me on Instagram and I will refer you to this lender. Be aware, a lot of lenders don't give loans to foreign nationals. You really have to know which one you're working with, because I would say 80% or 90% maybe only work with American or local resident investors. They want to see your credit score, they want to see US sourced income or something like that. They don't work with foreign nationals. So it's a different cup of tea, so you need to know which partners you can work with. I work with vetted partners, so if you're interested, just send me DM and I set you up with them. Again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned a little bit about DSCR loans, investing in the United States. Follow my channel for investing tips in USA, investing property tours in Ohio, Columbus, Cleveland, and Detroit. So again, thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one. Peace out.